This video clip will be a short video on another important macroeconomic target, which is to achieve low unemployment in the economy. I want to bring in first of all the important distinction between employment and unemployment. Employment is people who are actually working within the economy. Unemployment is people who aren't working in the economy but who are actively seeking employment. We need that important part of the definition simply because there are people who aren't working in the economy but they choose not to. For example, retired people, children, therefore they're not seeking work, so don't class as being unemployed. In terms of measuring unemployment, we need to bring in the important distinction between the level of unemployment and the rate of unemployment. The level of unemployment is the number of people who are unemployed within an economy. So it could say, for example, be 2 million people unemployed in the country. The rate is the percentage of unemployment in the country. So say, for example, we have 10 million people in the country and 1 million people are unemployed. The unemployment rate is running at 10%. So rate is the one that we prefer to because it allows us to compare countries. Say, for example, both Britain and China have 10 million people unemployed, and that's the level of unemployment. The rate would show us a percentage. Clearly, because China has more people, their rate would be lower than ours. That's the one we use for international comparisons. Now, in terms of measuring unemployment in the UK, we've got two different approaches. We can use the claimant count, or we can use the labour force survey. The claimant count measures those people who claim job seekers allowance. So those people who are actively seeking work in the economy, currently unemployed, but are eligible to claim job seekers allowance. The labour force survey is a survey which measures the true rate of unemployment. The labour force survey will show a higher number than the claimant count, simply because some people choose not to claim job seekers allowance or are ineligible for it. Say, for example, their partners or their family earn too much money. That would mean some people don't claim unemployment benefits, JSA, which means they wouldn't form part of the claimant count. What I want to move on to now is different types of unemployment. So if we were looking at types of unemployment, there are 3 different types that you need to know about for your exam. We have cyclical, we have structural, and we have frictional. Cyclical unemployment is people between positions. Pardon, I must scrap that. Cyclical unemployment is linked to changes in the economy. When demand for different products falls in the country, people lose their jobs. When demand picks up again in the economy, people gain jobs. So over the course of the economic cycle, we head towards boom, cyclical unemployment will fall, head towards a recession, cyclical unemployment will start to pick up. Structural unemployment is more of a long-term type of unemployment. This is linked mainly to deindustrialisation. Deindustrialisation occurred in Britain from the 1960s onwards. Many large-scale manufacturing businesses went bust in this country or moved abroad due to it being cheaper to make things abroad, such as shipbuilding, steel making, coal mining, for example. When those people lost their jobs and then businesses closed down, they lacked skills to find jobs within the economy. So these people became structurally unemployed. Jobs might be available, but they haven't got the skills to take on these jobs. Frictional unemployment is people between posts. Think about friction as in something that stops you getting from A to B, it holds you back. A school leaver, for example, might have a few months before they start a job. A newly qualified teacher might qualify in May, not take up their post till September. In the meantime, they are frictionally unemployed. Cyclical and frictional tend to be short-term problems, over the course of the economic cycle they will correct themselves, whereas structural is more of a long-term unemployment. Let's bring in now the problems of unemployment. One big problem we've got is inefficiency. People are a resource, human resources, and they are labour from the four factors of production. If people aren't working, that means we're not achieving our production possibility boundary. We're not producing as much as we could do. You've also got an impact on the government. People who are unemployed aren't paying taxes, which means income tax, for example, which means those people aren't contributing towards education, healthcare, transport in this country, which means public services will start to fall. Those people are also eligible to claim benefits, which means you have less funds available for education, transport, healthcare, and more money going towards paying those people's benefits. Other problems you've got linked to unemployment are what we call hysteresis. This is where unemployment actually creates further unemployment in the economy. As people lose their jobs, business confidence falls, which means they start to cut back on their production, which means more people will lose their jobs. If we're looking for further problems of unemployment, you've got problems on economic welfare. As people that lose their jobs have less money, therefore can satisfy less wants and needs, their living standards will therefore fall. You've got the impact on businesses. When unemployment picks up, people start to buy less, businesses lower profit margins, which means they start to struggle, and consequently that might create further unemployment as those businesses look to maintain profit margins. There are, however, some benefits of unemployment. You could argue higher unemployment reduces the scarcity of labour, that forces down wages, which means businesses can employ people on low wage rates. That might raise our international competitiveness. It also gives people the chance to retrain, gain new skills, new qualifications, which might mean they're more productive in the long run. So you can see then that unemployment overall is a bad thing, and what we'll be looking at in later topics is how we can go about reducing the level of unemployment in the country.